la famille.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'm really happy to be there with you tonight. In fact, when I met the family guys, it was like 4 years ago. At the time, I was 22, a bit lonely with my two other co-founders, Florian and Guilain. And we've met guys you may know, like Oussama, Balthazar, and we found that it was a really quiet, nice place to be, to launch a startup and to learn new things. So we immediately decided that we wanted to be a part of the family. At that time we were 3. Now we are a team of 215. So a lot of things have been going on since then. But we are very proud to be part of this big family, big community. And yeah, it's my first time here in Berlin at the family, of course, and I'm really pleased to be there and to share the journey we are living, which has been amazing since the beginning. I see that there are PayFitters in the room, so thanks for coming. Thanks everyone for coming. I'm really here to share everything. Almost everything with you. So I'm gonna get you some insights about some crazy stuff we are doing at PayFit. I hope that we're gonna talk a lot after that with some questions, and very happy to be really transparent about what's happening and what it takes, you know, to grow that fast and to live this incredible journey, first in France, now in Germany, in Spain, in the UK, and I guess in other countries really quickly. First of all, what we are doing, you don't know everything about PayFit. We are a solution to make payroll and HRIS easier for SMBs. So basically, when you have 5, 50, 130 employees, you need to make payroll each and every month. It's really painful. Payslips, you know, with taxes, a lot of errors, salaries, bonuses, holidays. So we are automating everything, simplifying everything regarding that matter. We are also simplifying the way companies can deal with their holidays, their expenses, their onboarding processes, you know, everything related to HR, which is linked with payroll. So our goal is to give employees and employers the tools of bigger companies, thanks to a very simple online tool. In the beginning, it was very hard to get the first customers, because we are not a CRM, a solution to send emails, or I don't know what other tool. We're talking about payroll, so we'll see how we built trust among customers and how we succeeded in building this 2,500 customer list. What we did in the beginning, and that was the starting point when we were still at school launching PayFit, is that we're inventing our own coding language. That was the first thing we've done. So maybe we can go back to that a bit later. Just to give you the long story short, we started PayFit 3 years ago. The first euro of revenue was 3 years ago. Now we are doing 12 millions of run rate. Hope that it will still grow that fast. We were a team of 5 3 years ago, 40 2 years ago, 90 a year ago. Now we are 215, and yeah, we'll be 400 in 1 year, and yeah, I guess around 1,000 in 3 years and a half. That's very precise, because we have quite a predictable and recurring revenue model. So we are able, you know, to predict our growth and to grow fast, but not too fast. We'll see that a bit later. We started in Paris because we were 3 French guys, and payroll was so complex in France that it was a great ground to play in at the first place. I mean, if you can automate payroll in France, then you can automate payroll everywhere. That was the motto at the time. So that's how we started. Then we launched Spain. We launched Germany. We are launching UK at the moment, and by the end of the year, we'll be launching Italy. Because not only the French employers and employees deserve a great solution on a day-to-day basis. So that's the story of PayFit. I wanted to do a small focus on our coding language, the Jetlong, because that's a thing that is so special about us. When we started PayFit, there were 3 guys, one that knew how to code, 2 others that didn't. The 2 that didn't know how to code, I was part of them, became payroll experts in France, and we invented our own coding language so that we could be autonomous on the building of our product, back end and front end. So it's a bit funny. A lot of hard work in the beginning. It took us like 15 months to build this language and to process the first payslip. Remember, the first euro of revenue was in April 2016, but it's really, really, really powerful. So now we have this language, this Jetlong language that is used internally by 20 people. Those 20 people are called the Jetlong masters. We have some of them in Germany, in Spain, in the UK, a lot of them in France, and they are engineers that don't know how to code, but that became payroll experts in their country, and that became Jetlong experts, which is something very internal and only used at PayFit. Because payroll is so complex that if you use traditional code, like JavaScript, for example, it's impossible to do it, in a scalable way and in a nice way for the user. So that's why we created it in the first place. We didn't know anything about payroll, about accounting, about contracts, invoices, or whatever. That's why we created Jetlong, because otherwise I don't think we would have the idea to create this language. So yeah, that was the idea at the beginning. So imagine just a list of thousands of variables that are dealing with bonuses, holidays, all the laws, the collective agreements that are put into a system, and then the user only see, a fast and beautiful tool where he can process payroll in a nice way. And same for every employee that are asking for holidays, that are uploading expenses. The goal is to provide happiness through a thing that is normally not linked to happiness. So with that, we started to raise some money, $500,000. We started to hire first employees. We started to see customers that were so happy with the product that we thought, okay, we need to grow faster. So the first 15, even 60 customers were almost all part from the family in Paris. So at the beginning, it was really, really helpful, to have those startups, those friends that wanted to process payroll in a nice way and that trusted us. So thanks again, the family, for that. It was really nice. It was the beginning. So with 1, 2, 3 salespeople, we did amazing things, and we proved that it was possible, to make customers happy. Then we thought, okay, we need to grow faster. We need to onboard dozens and dozens of new customers in each and every month. So we started to create SDRs to specialize between pre-sales, sales, onboarders, customer success, to create a real organization. Because at the time when you are 5, 6 people, everybody is doing everything. There is no 50 positions to the company. So you cannot specialize. You just need to do whatever it takes to make customers happy and to grow your number of customers. And then you start, to do some reorganizations, to create positions, and you need to be very okay with that. Because when you go from 5 to 20 in 6 months, then from 20 to 80 in 9 months, obviously, you cannot create an organization that fits everything's needs. So you just need to adapt really quickly. That's what we've done with the different phases we've lived. We invented some KPIs in our growth phase. Happy to discuss it later if it's interesting to you. Some things, for example, to measure the performance of SDRs, of sales. That's very important to get those numbers. So we invented some crazy indicators like PMRR, gross PMRR, for those who are familiar with MRR. Now we are looking for new ways, to grow and to touch everyone in our market. So, for example, TV, radio, partnership, etc. What is important to understand is that we want to serve every business in the world. Meaning that, for example, when you are Salesforce, Zendesk, Algolia, you need to find customers that have either tech people, support people, or sales people to serve them. But we can serve everyone. I mean, restaurants, bakeries, lawyers, the family, everyone could be a customer. And that's why it's so exciting to be part of this journey. If you have at least one pay slip, you can be you can use PayFit. So our ambition is really to simplify the lives of a lot of people. Today we have 2,500 companies. I'm really excited because we reached the 100 mark of customers in Germany today. So there are days where we are adding like 6-10 customers a day. That's a bit crazy, and it's really powerful to see that and to see the speed we have in this country. So thanks for everything to those German payfitters who are in the room. We have customers from 1 to 900 employees. So yeah, you can be a single entrepreneur with just yourself, or a big firm with hundreds of employees. You can use PayFit. What I'd like to talk about, because the product, the growth, a lot of things are quite nice to talk about. It's very complex and it changes every 6 months. It's very, very interesting to see how the company evolves, the positions, etc. But what is really, really interesting at every level is the talks about the culture and the learnings we have about that. Because when we started PayFit, we were like 22, and 24 among the founders. Now we are not that old, like 4 years older, basically. And our goal, is not necessarily, just to build a great business. Of course, we are doing it by expanding to new countries, by growing so fast, making our customers super happy. But what is really, really important to us is to build a company where everyone is as happy as we are. Every morning coming to work with the smile and with the mindset to achieve great things. That's really something that is happening in our company. That's really something we want to keep. So from the beginning, we hired people for professional skills, but also for culture, and it's really important to understand that. Some things we are doing is that we are organizing a lot of stuff, to make people feel at ease, to make people find friends at work. Of course, off-site seminars, team meetings. every 2 weeks, where we are very transparent about what's happening into the company in terms of fundraising, in terms of metrics, in terms of whatever is bad is happening in the company. And I think that people love this transparency and this proximity we have with everyone. We're also doing something I really recommend you to do is those BBQ tests. We've been doing that since the beginning. It's really funny. You have this hiring process where you are meeting 5, 7, 10 people with interviews. It's very formal, and then at the end, every Wednesday, you organize what we call a BBQ test. So this is a moment where PayFitters gather with all the candidates that are in their final step of hiring, and it's a way for PayFitters to meet candidates and to give feedbacks about them. It's also a way for candidates to see and to understand if they want to be part of this big adventure. So it's really a nice way, to not make that many mistakes in terms of hiring. It's also a way for PayFitters to meet each other when they are very numerous. So it's really something that's quite funny and that works quite well. I would like to talk about our values, because sometimes you see companies that from the beginning that have their values on the wall, with founders that say that you need to respect them. That is very, very important. In the beginning at PayFit, that's not what happened. I mean, we didn't find our values and stick them to the wall and talk about them openly. We never talked about that. We just hired people, maybe without being conscious of that respected that. And then when we were like 100, 150, we asked people what was important to them, and that was what came out. The 4 values we are living for to the company. And now that we are bigger than a few years ago, we really need to have this written and to have this very used, so that everyone can hire, can do perf reviews according to those values. So care, excellence, humility, and passion. And it's not something, we don't really care about the values in themselves. It's about living them on a daily basis. And I think that represents well what PayFitters are living on a daily basis. And it's funny because it's something that it's not like professional skills, which you can acquire. It's really something you are living with. It's part of your personality, and it's something if you hire someone at some point you need to pay a lot of attention to, and you cannot neglect values. If you find this perfect developer or this great salespeople that is closing maybe big deals or whatever, if he doesn't or if she doesn't respect all the values, it's not worth it. And that's really something that is really surprising in the beginning, because you think that people can change, that people can improve, but no. So that's really something that I mean, if you have some place for improvement, try it, but not too long. But these are, it's no, we didn't invent anything. I mean, care, excellence, humility, and passion. It's just the way we are living this on a day-to-day basis. That is very important. For example, patient. If we find someone that is not super happy to come and work at PayFit, even if he's really, really good at his work, we prefer, as founder, as managers, that he go and work in another place, because we really created this company to make PayFitters happy, like to make customers happy, to have more and more customers, but to make payfitters happy. So if we cannot succeed with that, we're not just there to give someone a job. We are here to make maximum number among customers or payfitters happy. So that's really something that is important, I guess. I didn't put it on the screen, but there are some books that are so nice to read. I don't know if you've ever heard of the story of Zappos, the Who, the A method for hiring, First, Break All the Rules, From Impossible to Inevitable. Those kind of books were really game changers in our lives as founders and also as managers for some people in our teams or as payfitters. It's really important, to leave the situation and then read those books, talk to people and learn things, because whatever your age, may be pretty young or older, I guess that what is really nice is when you learn new things every time, so that you can be better each and every day. And talking to people, learning books is really a good way to become more and more aware of what's happening. It's always funny, but when we were 5, I read for the first time the book From Impossible to Inevitable that explains how to scale a business, how to grow, how to hire customer success, SDRs, etc., how to sell to B2B companies in SaaS. And I understand some things, but not that many. When I read again this book when we were like 30, 40, I understand like 10 times more things, and it was really, really clear, because I was living the situation that were in the book. And when we were 5, no, I was just closing deals on my own, so I didn't have a team that was starting to be built. So it's really important to be very relative between the things you are living and the people you are talking to, or the books you are reading. I guess that's something that really really struck me this past months. I'm really happy to answer about all your questions, because we've been living an incredible journey, going from 3 to more than 200 in a few years. We are welcoming sometimes like 20, 30 people a month in every of our countries. There are a lot of things to talk about, in the growth, marketing, culture. I don't know which one you will pick, but very happy to talk about anything you like, anything that can help you in your lives of co-founder, of startup employee, of freelancer, wherever you live, So don't hesitate to ask anything you'd like.
What you were saying before about SDRs and the moment where you guys were doing that, and then you started to structure it a little bit more. Can you dig a little bit more upon that period of PayFit to maybe, like, if some people in the audience are at that stage or are part of a team that is at that stage, how to not fuck up some things that you may have fucked up, or do the great thing that you've done?
Yeah, so in the beginning, we hired our first salespeople, account exec. They were doing a bit of everything, like finding opportunities, then closing them. We went to 6 salespeople. So at that time, we were 20 in the team, and we decided to introduce SDRs. But in the company, we were all pretty young. Nobody knew what was a SDR. So this is a picture during one of our seminar, like I guess the third one, where I am explaining to the sales team and the marketing team what is an SDR. So the first SDR that joined the company was Andy over there. He didn't know himself what was a SDR.
What is SDR?
So,
What an SDR is?
sorry?
Can you explain? I don't know what an SDR is.
Yeah, SDR is a pre-sales. So it's a sales development representative. So basically, you can have two types of sales people. There are many. Then you can specialize to the infinite. But there are SDRs, pre-sales, and account exec, also named as simply sales. And SDR are the people that are looking for opportunities, and they are scheduling demos with companies or people that could be interested.
But they're not doing the demos.
No, they are not doing the demos. The account exec or salespeople are taking, the demos scheduled by the SDR to close it, and to then transform it into a customer. So SDR takes a lead and brings it into a prospect with a demo, and then the account exec transforms it into a customer.
And why is it working better than just having like one salesperson do the whole process? What's the learnings there?
Because people are either good at scheduling demo or closing deals, and it takes time to get really, really, really good at the two things. And it's like specializing among SDR between inbound and outbound. That's something we've done in France, and it works like a charm. But you cannot do it, in the beginning. In the beginning, everybody is doing just everything. But then you need to specialize. I wish we had specialized and create this ND sooner. But the important thing is that we've done it. And for example, when we launched Germany, we've done it right from the beginning.
What was your biggest challenges at the beginning? So, did you start with making a product and you have to look for the programmist, or did you start with the? So, have you an idea and you started to looking for the programmist, or you started to sell this idea at the beginning?
No, during more than a year, 15 months, we didn't do any selling. Like just inventing the language and then using the language to create a tool that we could then sell. We could have done, a payslip in 2 weeks, maybe 1 day using Excel, but it took us 15 months to produce the first payslip. But it was a great payslip and a great way to produce payslip. And then it would be easier, to go to other countries to produce great payslips, in Germany, in Spain, in France. So that's why we've done that in the beginning.
Hi, I was wondering, once you were okay in France and you felt you had a solid base, what was the process of choosing another country? Like, was it only market size, number of companies that you could sell to, or was there softer factors that were involved, like culture and stuff like that?
Yeah, obviously when you are French, it's easier to start a business in Germany or in Spain than going to Brazil or Japan in the first place. So we mixed a lot of factors, like the similarities of culture, the size of the market. For example, Belgium and Switzerland are great countries where payroll is very complex, and Jetlong could be a powerful weapon in those countries to solve this complexity. But there are small markets compared to Spain and Germany, so we didn't go there. The price point is important too. There are countries where the payslip is worth like €2. For example, in the UK, in France it's more like 25-30 euros per month per payslip. So yeah, a lot of things. The ability to attract really great people is also another key.
Hey, I'm Alice. Thank you for the presentation, and I wanted to ask, so like, you had a really impressive dynamic in the company, like from 5 people to 200, or like more than 200. So basically, how did you develop your senior team, or like yourself as well? Did you hire some coaches? Was anybody like external helping you like to get the same seniority?
Yeah, so since the beginning, I've had one mentor, that is also one of our investors. That was one of the first partners at the family. Jean Laroche-Brochard. He's doing some seed investment for Xavier Niel in France, and he's someone that is really helping us, learn a lot of things. It is really available for us and living the journey through us. Then you have people, that can grow into more senior leaders. People, for example, like Mathieu, our head of sales, is managing like 60 people at the moment. But he was managing 5 people 1 year and a half ago. And when he joined 2 years and a half ago, he joined as a sales, as an account exec. So there are people that can grow, almost as fast as the company is growing. So those people are pretty rare. They are really precious, but it's really nice to have them. And then you have other people that are joining the company and that were part of amazing adventures before. For example, our German country manager that is in the room, and that was, for example, country manager for Gympass Germany before, or companies like that. We hired for example, the first European employee at Dropbox. We hired people from Google to run the marketing team. At the moment, we're looking for a VP engineering and a VP people. So it's a mix between, making people grow as fast as they want and as they can, because the growth of the company allows it. So it's a chance, but not everybody can and want to do it. So you also need to bring some fresh and some freshness and experience from the outside, and hire great people who've lived it before. Now we have a very big challenge. We will be growing from 200 to 1,000. It's not like something normal. It's not every companies are doing that. So you need to have really great people, and to be aware that it's gonna be really hard, but also really rewarding if the success is there. So you always need to find the best people, and to find people that are better than you at everything.
So in B2B SaaS, it seems like there's always this rift that opens up between the engineering team and the sales team. As you grow and scale up, how do you kind of reconcile the two? How do you keep those two very different cultures in vibe with each other?
Yeah, this is a problem a lot of companies can be facing at some point. Sometimes, from the beginning, because usually you get this image when, sales just want some shitty product very fast to sell and to make money. And engineers, they want to do stuff for themselves, and they want to work on the intellectual stuff, and not necessarily used by the customers. Those are a caricature of course, what is happening. We never had this kind of problem at PayFit, because we always told, all the engineers, all the jet longs, that without our sales, we wouldn't exist. And we celebrated from the beginning the work of our sales, of our SDRs, of our marketing team. Means that when there is a customer in a new country, the whole company knows it. Everyone knows about it, because there is an announce on Slack channels, and everyone is reacting with emojis, congratulating everyone. So that's really, really funny. And it's the same for for praising engineers. When there are new features they are announced, we are congratulating those people. It's all about recognition, I guess. Knowing that you couldn't exist without the other. I remember when I was running the sales team in the beginning, I always thought, all the sales, how incredible our engineers were, to solve those complex problems and to get those new features on track. I think it's all about communication, respect, care, and a lot of internal communication and praises.
Hi.
Hi.
What were your biggest challenges in terms of growth, and how you managed to accomplish them?
Yeah, there are a lot of challenges. I would say that the most important challenge we have in mind is keeping the culture as good as it is. So it's all about hiring the right people, and then keeping them on track, making them evolve. Sometimes you're gonna make mistakes in hiring, so you need to understand that and find the right fit for everyone. Because hiring is not a science, so you cannot be 100 sure. If you have 100% of success in hiring, it means that you don't take enough risk, and that you are missing a lot of opportunities. So basically, your success rate needs to be, somewhere between 70 and 90%, and then you need to act with those 10, 5, 20%. But you cannot wait for 100%. So that's something that is important. Keeping this culture through our people. When we were 50, we had a lot of discussions with our with our co-founders, because our biggest question was how to keep this culture the same as it is from 50 to 200. In 14 months can seem pretty big, because when you reach so quickly 200, it happens that half of the company is quite new, 4 months new. So we took a lot of actions, with values, with a lot of care, onboarding, hiring, to keep this great culture. And now I'm very surprised, because I'm really convinced that at 200 we have and with 4 countries we have a really better culture than when we were 50. And so now I'm telling myself, okay, the goal is not to keep it from 200 to 500 or 1,000. It's to be even better. So that's really I'm really optimistic about that. It's really hard. It's the most challenging thing, but I really think we can do it.
Hi, thank you for the talk. The job you're doing is something that probably comes with a lot of stress, a lot of people putting on you a lot of responsibilities. And I'm wondering, what do you do personally to keep happy and healthy and plow through it?
A lot of things. I'm doing a lot of sports. I was jogging in Berlin this morning, for example. A lot of sports, friends, family. I'm still living with my girlfriend and co-founder. No, it's not the same person. So yeah, when we started PayFit, we took a flat with my girlfriend and one of my co-founder, and we are still together, sharing great moments with friends, because we were best friends with the 2 co-founders, doing a lot of sports, going on holidays. Last week it's not Paris. It's not that sunny over there. It's really important to take some breaks. When I started the company, after a few months, I told myself, okay, now the goal to build a very powerful organization. The goal is to get to work every morning and to tell myself, what can I do to be sure that I can go on holidays, being confident. And if you tell that yourself as a co-founder, as a CEO, like each and every morning, then you're gonna build an organization that operationally doesn't depend on you, and you are gonna build something scalable, hire more senior people, give a lot of responsibility, which is really nice. And then you sometimes you can go on holidays, which is really nice for everyone. And that's really a same thing. Sometimes, founders or employees tell themselves that it's bad to take some time off. It's really, really very important. So sports, holidays, friends, family, usual stuff, I guess. But when you have a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure, a lot of what you want, it's easy to forget 1, 2, or 3 of those things. So you need to be very disciplined about that.
Thank you for sharing your story. How your approach towards the customer support and feedback have changed over the time?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was easy to know each and every customer, or at least for the first 400 or 500, I knew everyone, every customer, every feedback, every deal. Now it's no longer the case, so you need to use tools. You need to use the right organization in your company. You need to have a great data team. We are building it at the moment, but it's a bit too late. So we are catching up on that. People that are just there to get the data, organize it, and give it to a lot of teams. Because in the beginning you can be very qualitative about that, but then with thousands of employees, you need to you need to be good with data. And then you need to be aware that what is important is not what you think about your customers' happiness. It's actually, are they happy or not? And so you need to measure that. It's really, really important. And again, it's with data. You need to talk to them. So yeah, I'm always on deals, on customer talks with all our teams, because it's important that everyone at each level know the customers. This is one of the main goal. Make customers happy, make payfitters happy, and grow business. This is the 3 things we want to do at PayFit.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. And what was your biggest mistake in the last 4 years of founding the company?
I think I've met many, but it's not that important if you are aware of them, if you correct quickly. That's what I was talking about earlier, but being too optimistic and too confident about the fact that someone that is not a great fit in this position or for the company will be, in the future. There are some things, you are feeling, and you are just telling yourself, okay, it will improve, it will change over time, and sometimes you need to stop thinking that. It's important, for you, for the company, and also for the person. So I would say that in the beginning I was too confident and optimistic about that. Of course, you are making a lot of hiring mistakes in the beginning. I don't know, for example, when we were 6, we hired a CMO. Wasn't a great fit. So after a month, he was out. There are a lot of things like that, but it's not nothing that important. I think that the family helped us a lot with that, because in the beginning you can do some crazy mistakes, and that are like forever. For example, your co-founder, if you mess up, if you are choosing the wrong people, then you'd better stop the company. Investors, if you are raising a great valuation, your seed round with the wrong people, it can kill you. So it's not all about valuation. It's more important to choose the right people. These are the kind of stuff that you can really, really regret. But we never did this kind of mistake. So we've been lucky with that, I would say.
Hi. you first started in France. I wanted to ask you, what was the milestone that you reached that made you think that it was the right time to move on to other countries? I don't know.
When we were like a team of 25, 30, we thought, okay, we have the model, we can replicate it, we can hire more people and serve more customers and be better each and every day. So that's one thing, and we can grow a lot. But if we don't expand to other countries quite quickly, then France will be so big and growing so fast that it will be hard, to shift this mentality, this PNL, this lot of things. So we decided, very, very soon, and in a unstructured way sometimes, to go very fast in the international and to test things, to iterate. That's the logic we have. That's what we've done since the beginning, with JetLong. We've been iterating this kind of new language. In the beginning, we didn't know exactly what we were doing. But now we are very happy to have done that, because when I look at what we are doing in Germany, 3 people like 4 months ago. Now we are 17. We'll be 50 by the end of the year, just in Berlin. So that's pretty cool. Yes.
Hi. At which point in your growth you've implemented those crazy KPIs you were saying at the beginning?
Every time. It's just when.
Sorry, the performance evaluation of your employees.
For example, gross PMRR, etc. Yeah, that's just every time. For example, gross PMRR, it was when we asked ourselves, how do we compensate fairly SDR? Like we compensate fairly salespeople. And how do we know who are the good SDRs, the bad SDRs? How do we fix bonuses? So to do so, we were forced to invent this ratio to be fair with everyone and to be predictable, the company, etc. So I would say that it's a good example of taking ideas that exist on the market from other companies. For example, the idea of SDR, we didn't invent this idea. I guess that Salesforce did a few years ago. Like, for example, HubSpot, this concept of inbound marketing. But GPMRR, I don't know if it will be used by other companies, but it's a great way internally to reward those SDRs, to give them bonuses, and to tie their performance to the sales ones after that.
Can you explain what it is?
Yeah, it's just the MRR, monthly recurring revenue, in SaaS is just the amount of money a customer is paying you for a service. For example, Salesforce, Zendesk, Algolia, PayFit, we all have this MRR, which is also ARR on an annual basis, annual recurring revenue. We invented the gross PMRR to reward the SDR. So that's not the amount of MRR, that's just the value of the deal multiplied by some stuff, like for example the source. Does that lead come from Facebook, from an event, from the family? Does this lead, for example, has 5 employees or 500? Is it an early adopter? And then you can have a score about the lead and tell the SDR, okay, it was a great lead to find, so you get a great score, a great gross PMR, so a great bonus, and you did well. And this score, what is powerful is that you can change it over time. For example, today, if we decide to become more into bigger companies, we can change the way we calculate this gross PMRR, and then SDRs will be hunting more companies that are in this range, so that they will be more rewarded, and everyone is aligned, like the SDR, the sales, the company. So that's just a way to be very flexible and to align everyone, and to have everyone, with the same goals and the same happiness.
And hello. Yeah. I want to ask you about actually the development of the language, because you said like the first 15 months you were basically like developing the new language to use it with the software. And the question is, were you already like funded when you were developing the language? And if so, how you actually can show maybe your founders that is actually working? Because when you have a company, you can have like revenue. But I don't know, it's like number of features, like how you actually show people that.
That's a great question. In the beginning, when it started in January 15, we didn't have any funding, employees, language, so we just were building the language. In September 15, we raised the first part of our seed, and with that, we just hired one developer. We were able to raise this seed because the back was showable and the front too. And so we were able to make people understand what would be PayFit a few months after. We needed some more months, to keep on going. But we faked it at that time. For example, the database. During the summer of 2015, we built something that we know we would have to throw out a few months after, because we built the first version of PayFit with the ability with just one employee capacity. Means that you couldn't have more than one employee on PayFit, which is not that good. But it was the way to make when you are 22, it's just a way to make people understand what you have in mind. It was very clear what we had in mind at the moment, but sometimes hard to explain with words. So you'd better fake it, make it, throw it, redo it the good way, and yeah. So iteration, a lot of iterations.
Hi, I have two questions now. First question is, how do you structure your onboarding process when you're hiring so many people? And the second question is, how do you incentivize really good people? So you always have like employees where you really they have a lot of passion, they're really good in what they're doing. So how do you like motivate them on a daily basis that the others don't feel demotivated, but that also they feel a little bit more special treated?
About employee motivation, I think it's all about building the right environment for them to make them feel right. It's also about recognition, promotions, salaries, equity, responsibilities, finding the right fit for them. It's all about that. There is no great position and bad position. It's just a matter of fit with your talent or your non-talent. It's just about that. And then I think having a great manager is the most important thing. That's why I really recommend you the book First Break All the Rules. I read it during the holidays. It was so nice. They said that the first thing to have employees happy is to have great managers, and they explain how to do it, which is not simple, but that's worth it. So no, it's there are a lot of stuff, but paying employees, well above the market, that is not the solution. For example, we are signing employees from Google, Dropbox, and those other companies that pay a lot, and people don't necessarily want to work for those big companies for like really more money. So that's just part of the recognition process, like equity, like positive feedbacks, like praises, promotions, but it's not just an easy thing. Then about the onboarding process, it's really important to have buddies, for example, that are not your managers, random lunches, very caring atmospheres where you are helping each other, you are welcoming people very well. It's all about people that are already there, that are gonna do a great work with people coming. So yeah, a lot of processes, a lot of human care, and everybody, is an onboarder in the company, not just the HR or the manager or the buddy. Like basically everybody.
So my question is, how did you make sure that the alignment between the teams internally, like between the divisions, was aligned, and also when ideas floating around, that you align them kind of and make sure that the growth is not going in one team faster than the other ones?
Yeah, it's something really, really important. I'm telling every PayFitters all the time is that there are three dimensions in the company: the growth dimension, growth and customer, from marketing to customer support; the engineering, product, jet-long design dimension; and the G&A dimension with HR, finance, legal, hiring. And it's true that if you are tremendous at product engineering, but you are very weak at sales and marketing, then you're gonna struggle. So, and inside, each dimension is the same. If you have a really nice tech team, but I don't know, your product managers are weak, it's not gonna work. So it is our responsibility as founders to make sure that it's like a boat. It's going as fast as we can, but it's also a good equilibrium between every dimension and inside each dimension. So you need to be constantly aware of risks there are in your company, in areas that are weak or that are slow, and always correct. And you need to see it in advance, which is not quite easy, because when you see it, it's too late. It's already happened. But that is really, really good question, because I consider it to be like one of my most important job with keeping the culture at least as good as it is right now. So yeah, really, really, really good question. And there is not a magic recipe for that. You just need to have that in mind. Thanks a lot. Very happy.
Que la famille.